Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games, and as always we'll start with EVE Online, and it's been another rather casual week in EVE Online. I did a little bit of exploration back in Minmatar space close to Rennes, still very successful there. I'm a little bit surprised at how consistent it is, but I've covered that in a couple of other videos. There are a few systems just outside of Rennes that are like the only 0.5 systems, and they are Edencom fortresses that really attract a lot of those good combat sites, and I managed to find some more good loot, some quick sites without too much effort, without having to spend a lot of time looking for those systems that actually have those combat sites. So that's been very efficient, I would say. It's allowed me to go back to Rennes and to sell some of that stuff. Very noticeable difference here. I actually brought back some faction pieces from Amateur Space, which are Sancha, and those sold like hotcakes at a price above their estimated average. And the local Angel Cartel things, well, it's actually rather logical that this happens, of course, are selling a lot more slowly, albeit still at a decent pace, but you have to be a bit more competitive with your price on those. And so I think I'm going to start to try and develop a schedule where I can move from one type of space depending on the pirates that are there, and then grab a lot of loot, then move to a different region close to another trade hub so that I can sell those things, do my exploration there, and then perhaps move back to Minmatar space with different types of loot. That is probably going to be pretty efficient when it comes to moving your product and getting the right price. I've been keeping up with what's been happening with my blueprint copies, and it is not good news. Things are moving very slowly in Amar at the moment. I'm not sure why. I think I've sold like 3 BPCs so far on the 20 that I have up on contract, so that's unusually slow. We will see how I will handle that. Perhaps I'll try to move some of my blueprints closer to Jita so that I can make BPCs there with a different jump clone, try and sell them there, try to make comparisons. We'll need to find the most efficient way, but obviously putting everything close to a single trade hub is not going to be the most efficient way of doing things. Or something else that I could take a look at as well is try and sell them in the Minmatar trade hubs, because I have heard that they have taken over a lot of that halfway business between Jita and Amar. So definitely something that I'll explore when I get a little bit more time. I've been doing my PI on a daily basis, basically running a single extractor on a couple of days to rebalance my planets. That's been going pretty well. Most of them are back in a healthy state so that I can get everything up and running again and try to produce more products. Still hoarding all of that stuff, especially my coolants and my mechanical parts of fuels. They keep going down in price and staying very low, so we need a little bit of patience on that PI. And then at the tail end of the week, I'm actually in Jita at the moment, where I have been doing a decent amount of selling. I'm actually focusing on selling some of that old mission and exploration Tech 1 loot that I found from time to time. I do some of those rounds, and then what the hell is that in the background? Hope it doesn't come through too much. So I put all of that stuff in a single station, and then I've been selling that in bulk. Actually, the Tech 1 stuff is selling for pretty good prices, I think because of the higher mineral prices, and so I'm in a pretty good state with my wallet. I think I'm starting to have to be in a place, although that's basically been the case for a very long time, but where I say, alright, that's a nice round number that I like, and everything above there I'm actually going to start investing that, perhaps pimping out some of my ships. I've also been purchasing some extra skill books and things like that, and overall I feel like I'm in a really good place because I have some exploration rounds that I can still do that I enjoy quite a little bit. Doesn't necessarily take too much effort, but everything that I do, everything that I find becomes net profit in my current setup, and so then I'll be able to focus on reinvesting that in my character a little bit more rather than the structures and the services and things like that. So I'm not sure when the focus is going to come back fully onto EVE Online. I'm kind of hoping that CCP comes out with some news next week, but we will see how it all works out. And of course, I do still play the game every single day, and I actually enjoy it just now, slowly feeling like I'm making progress and improving my character with new skill books, with you know, potentially some ISK that I can put aside for certain ship projects, or maybe even some very expensive modules, and try to have some fun and try to improve actually on the ships that I already have. We could go for some pretty cool stuff, I think. Next up, we have a little bit more Space Engineers. I've been playing that with my brother. It's actually a game that he recommended me, and we've been having a lot of fun trying to create some cool ships. Once you get like a base going on a planet that has oxygen, right, air for you to breathe, then you know you can take your time, learn the basics of the game, and I feel like, you know, we're making good progress on learning how to do stuff, and even building ships that will probably make their way into space, although we have yet to test that with more ships at this point. But it's also really cool everything that you can do there. I've been trying to build up a drone, so have some automated systems in there, rather complex. You basically have to do some programming on what the ship has to do, with which modules at certain points on like a route. It's pretty cool, but you know, I always tended to make a couple of mistakes, and then, you know, let the drone go on autopilot, and then something went completely wrong. Gotta try to catch it. It's really been quite an adventure to try and create a drone that functions, but, you know, sort of a returning autopilot is something that I've managed to develop and that I understand at this point. Also trying to build some bigger ships, which is pretty interesting to try and do. And overall, I'm also trying some other types of modules like pistons for some drill mining, and it has that sandboxy element down to a T. It is really like a Minecraft in space, where you build spaceships and where you can actually do a lot of cool automation stuff with everything that's available. So far, I haven't delved into using scripts and things like that. I personally am not really for modding my games too much. I tend to be rather careful with my gaming rig, and so I'd rather just have the baseline experience, see what we can push there, than to go too much into mods. You never know, you know, how that is going to impact the performance of the game on your PC and things like that. So overall, I'm really rather careful. I'll probably stick to the base game for Space Engineers as well, but the potential there is already absolutely huge, and so I think it's going to be pretty cool. We get a couple more videos that are planned already to you know, keep you guys up to date on our progress in the game. But right now there's something else that has come in between, but it's definitely something that afterwards I'm planning to pick up. Things that I would like to do, you know, at this point, probably build like a massive and cool planet-based base is something that I kind of do want to do, with like a lot of ships, automated systems, conveyors, automatic mining, all of that good stuff. Just keep going down or something like that. I'm not sure if that is possible, because you need to keep adding pistons, but we'll see if that works out. And then my brother actually wants to do like either an asteroid base or a moon base somewhere in space, and then from there try to find all the necessary resources and build up a warp ship to try and go to like an alien planet. So we still have definitely plans and goals that we want to achieve in Space Engineers. We just don't really know when the schedules will align to allow us to do that. And for the final game, it is of course Path of Exile that has just launched the Ritual League with a big update, lots of balancing changes, and then a new final boss for the game called the Maven. It was pretty cool. Actually, I spent a little bit of time watching some streams for the launch event, you could say. Some cool cosplays. I personally do like to watch Quinn69. I think it's pretty entertaining, and so basically watching him at the start of the league while I was in the queue at like 50,000 or something like that. But launch was actually rather good. I mean, it took a little bit of time, of course, to get through those 55,000 people that were before me in the queue, but I felt like it was reasonably fast. And once I got into the game, you know, I saw some warnings in chat that you don't want to defer too many items because that was causing people to crash. So I was actually a little bit careful with that, and then I got a decently smooth experience. A little bit of lag in some of the early hubs where you encounter other players. I think that's actually normal on launch day. You know, players need to spread out a little bit as time passes. But while I was in my own instances, everything is working quite nicely, and I'm currently building an elementalist focusing on fire damage. Still not really sure what I want to do with like the support spells, but at the moment, honestly, it's looking like we'll go the golem route again, because they do give that nice bonus to straight up damage, and then also if you go full you know, with the 4 ascendancy points into the golem stuff, you also get immunity to ailments, which I think is quite nice to get on top of that as well, with an extra golem that gives you extra damage, all of that good stuff. So at first I thought maybe I'll go just full spells and then go the other route for trying to get more damage, but it's like more exposure. I think my tree is already giving me a decent amount of exposure. Not sure how much I'll still gain from that. And then the last one is like very specific. Either you get a lot of AoE, or you get extra damage for like 4 seconds when you attack a boss or something like that. So I'm really not sure if how effective that is going to be against something that is now very passive. Grab those golem buffs and just, you know, try to do more damage that way. So overall, yeah, it's a new league start, so I'm definitely going to spend a little bit of time in Path of Exile. I'm pretty positive about this one. The ritual mechanic so far seems to be pretty intuitive, pretty fast to do as well, except, you know, you can try to min-max by hunting every single ritual out there, and potentially very, very rewarding, because you can see what you can earn, defer that, and then it goes down in price until you can actually afford the items that you want. So very cool. I honestly enjoy Path of Exile. I think I'll be going decently hardcore for like the first week or so. After that, I do tend to you know, lower my game time in Path of Exile, and eventually actually also like tend to give up on a league at some point. But it's something that I do always return to, and those league launches are actually pretty exciting, pretty fun to do. You know, you make a lot of mental plans as to what you want to try, and then you know, you go out there and you try to achieve that. So it's gonna be a little bit of Path of Exile with Eve, I think, next week, and after that we will see where the rest takes us. That was my week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.